Imagine a world without the doctor. Is it quiet, quaint, and humble? Or is it more deadly than you could ever imagine? In Africa, medical care was a thing of dreams, something only attained through wealth and power. But in the 1970s, a group of French doctors thought to themselves, why should we keep this technology to ourselves? They believed that every human had the right to equal treatment, no matter their race, religion, or social status. In essence, they believed that the entire world deserved first world medical treatment. And with the birth of this idea came the birth of the organization we know today as Doctors Without Borders, healing the world one human at a time. Before we can begin to understand the magnitude of their actions, why don't we discuss the main issues in the areas that Doctors Without Borders is based in. This here is Africa. It is plagued with three predicaments that call for the need for first world medical attention. Diseases such as malaria and HIV run rampant through the country. Food shortage is a common occurrence that brings about the death of thousands of children every day. And on top of all this, race and power wars are waged in countries such as Nigeria and Sudan. These things form a domino effect that lead to the suffering and death of many of Africa's population. But what could these things do to the world if left unchecked? Here are a few. Outbreaks of untreated HIV and malaria could lead to a global pandemic. Malnutrition and starvation could lead to the major demographic changes of Africa's youth. And war could lead to widespread genocide, as well as the common usage of child soldiers. All of these things contribute to the destruction of the standard of living in Africa. But in all the chaos, there is a line of hope. Doctors Without Borders has taken upon itself the task of providing first world medical care to everyone in the world. Their actions are the byproducts of a code they were founded upon: independent humanitarianism. Independent humanitarianism is the act or practice of unselfish acts for the benefit of all without any political affiliation. They provide personnel who want to make a human connection with the people they influence and treat. And through their unbiased eyes, they have broken down the lines and walls that have divided us for centuries. To Doctors Without Borders, everyone is an equal human being. But what is a human being to you? Can you honestly tell me the difference between these two children? Because I can. All I see are two children who want a future in which they live another day, and Doctors Without Borders gives that to them. Their solutions are simple. Create volunteer medical facilities in countries such as Sudan, Rwanda, and Nigeria in order to combat malaria, HIV, as well as genocide and other war crimes on the front lines. Partnership with companies such as Nutriset to create food and supplies to help combat acute malnutrition throughout Africa as well as the world. And finally, the education of today's youth in medical fields as well as religious and racial tolerance. But what is all this work without the reward? On your right, or left, on your left is 2-year-old Yusuf. He was brought into a Ugandan facility, severely malnourished. His parents, beyond hope, left him there. Yet 24 hours later, he opened his eyes for the first time. And 3 weeks later, he was able to go home and play with his brothers and sisters, all thanks to the care of Doctors Without Borders. On the other side are 2 brothers recovering from malaria after they were unable to work on their farm. Their smiles and faces are here today because someone worked hard enough to cure them. These children were never given up upon. They were fought for by the doctors at Doctors Without Borders every inch of the way. And as a reward, we have their lives to thank for. What's stopping you from saving a life? What is in your path that keeps you from making a child smile? Because whatever that is, I'll tear it down with you. The unification of humanity is not impossible. It must be worked for and earned. You don't even have to start in Africa. Doctors Without Borders has opened multiple sites in Sri Lanka, Africa, Russia, Europe. But you You can start smaller if you want to. Your state, your county, high school, your home. The unification of humanity comes from within. It grows from selflessness and stems through action. But it's not impossible, even if you think it is. Because these people right here, they all did it. So why can't you?